Hello and welcome to another episode of the So Here For It podcast. My name is Amy Mingan and today we are talking all about perimenopause and anxiety. Look, I hear you. A lot of women are just thinking they're losing their minds right now because they're walking into a place and they're like, I forgot my keys. I don't know where they are. I don't know why I'm in this place. And they have this impending sense of urgency in their body, or they're kind of exhausted by the end of the day because the body's using up so much extra energy because the nervous system is running itself into the ground. Now, you're not alone if you feel these symptoms. I personally am in early perimenopause myself. I'm 42 this year. I get where you're at. And I've also helped lots of women get through this stage. So listen up today. We are going to talk about the drivers of your perimenopause anxiety. We're going to talk about why it happens, who it happens to, but also some really tangible things that you can do that are outside what the medical realm normally recommend for you. Because quite frankly, you do not have an SSRI deficiency and you're probably not at the point yet where you require HRT. So what do? I'm going to tell you in this episode. So listen up. Now, perimenopause can happen to anyone over the age of about 35. And it starts with things like this. It starts with waking in the middle of the night. It starts with like this weird kind of electricity running through the body. This feeling of like impending doom, like something bad's going to happen, but you're not really sure what that something bad is. And you can't really put your finger on like why you're feeling the way you're feeling. You just kind of feel a bit stressed, like generally. And you could be kind of questioning things and questioning like, is this me having a midlife crisis? Is this me like not enjoying anything anymore? And just between you and I, women over 40 have the highest rate of leaving their partners and husbands. Now, there's no coincidences there. Not only are women waking up to what it is that they want, they're sick of people pleasing. It's like that's a whole other podcast episode. But they're starting to give back to themselves. And as far as anxiety is concerned, there is this like worry and uncertainty that runs through their bodies. And I want you to know by the end of this episode that there are so many things that you can put in place that will be really, really supportive. And even if you just do one of these things, you will notice a huge change. Okay, so let's get started. Why does it happen? Why do we get anxiety in perimenopause? Now, it's happening because of a few different things in our body. But if you can think about estrogen. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, estrogen declines during perimenopause. It doesn't actually decline until we're in menopause. So we're actually, once our period's finished. It is a roller coaster. It goes up, it surges, and it comes down, crashing down. And that crashing down, that also crashes our neurotransmitters. So our GABA, our serotonin, and our dopamine. Now, I don't know about you, but I really love the feeling of getting a reward, feeling pleasure, feeling connected, feeling like, oh, yes, life is great. And that's normally when your serotonin, GABA, and your dopamine are nice and high, and they're normally high when your estrogen is high. Now, as soon as that starts to dip, you start to notice a dip in your emotions. You might cry over nothing. You might rage over nothing, seemingly nothing. And meanwhile, your family's like, what's going on here? What did you do with her? Is something going on that we don't know about? But no, the thing that's happening, it's all happening underneath and it's to do with your estrogen. So what we want to do is we actually want to balance your estrogen out. Now, a couple of things. I want you to think about, where does estrogen come from? It's inside our bones. It's part of our bone density. It's inside every single cell of our body. And if you can think about this estrogen goes and binds directly to every estrogen receptor. But during perimenopause, there will be a lot sometimes and not enough sometimes. And that's where the symptoms come from. Now, there's a lot of estrogen receptors in the brain. That's where brain fog comes from. If you're getting a lot of brain fog, by the way, creatine is amazing. Just as a side note. I'm not promoting anyone's particular creatine. I just take it every day and I notice such a huge difference in my brain because I notice the dips after lunch. I notice the dip even mid-morning if I've had a lot on my plate during the day. Creatine helps to kind of fill those gaps. So anyway, back onto estrogen. Estrogen's really, really great for helping us build our muscles as well as a woman. Now, if you are noticing these peaks and troughs, you feel good and then you don't, you feel good and then you don't, then it's not your estrogen declining, it's actually your estrogen on a roller coaster. So I want you to think, all right, well, how do I regulate my estrogen? I want you to think something that's going to help fill in the gaps. One of the things is we want to make sure that we're making the most of the estrogen that we do have. And the estrogen that we do have gets activated inside the liver and inside the gut microbes. So we've got to look after our liver and we've got to look after our gut. And our gut, you've probably heard of the microbiome. Well, we've got to make sure we've got enough good guys. Actually, we need our lactobacillus acidophilus, yogurt. Actually, the most simplest form is like yogurt. And if you're in Australia, if you can get hold of the Valia yogurt, so long as you're not dairy free, if you can have dairy, get the Valia yogurt. It's amazing. That form of acidophilus that's inside of it, so good. No, I'm not sponsored by Valia. I just know that that particular strain that they have in it is really, really good. Now, the other one I think is Activia, something like that. That one's a really good one too, the LGG strain. Anyway, we want to make sure that we're also eating plenty of cruciferous veggies, so things like kale, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, all of your leafy greens. Those sorts of things actually have the compounds that help our liver to detoxify estrogen, which actually helps us to keep estrogen in its most active form, and it deactivates the most inflammatory form. So we want to make sure that we have the best form of estrogen in our body and keep it regulated. The other thing we want to make sure we have is enough fiber, because our fiber feeds our microbes. We want the positive guys in our gut. We don't want more of the bad guys. And this is going to bring me to, straight away, I want to talk about alcohol, because a lot of the women who I treat who are perimenopausal, they don't want to give up their wines after work. They don't want to stop having wines at the barbecue on the weekend. But I'm sorry to say, it needs to go. So wine depletes your GABA, which also puts stress on your liver, which also puts stress on your nervous system, which almost definitely is going to disrupt your sleep, but also cause anxiety. So if you're getting anxiety and you're still drinking wine, you need to stop, or at the very least, you need to make it very, very, very weak. Like I would suggest maybe doing a spritz, put heaps of ice into the glass, put loads of soda water and just put a little dash of wine. Can we compromise here? I think we can. But the wine's got to go. It's just fermented sugar. It's causing insulin resistance. It's causing the gut microbes to be out. And it's putting stress on the liver, but it's putting stress on your histamine and your GABA. We need to get rid of the wine. That actually goes for all alcohol, but I just see most women who love a wine on a weekend tend to love a wine every day. And we need to get rid of it, okay? We've got to support our hormones. The other thing I want to say here is a lot of doctors will offer you SSRI or anti-anxiety medication. And look, there's nothing wrong with it if you're taking it. I just think that there are so many other ways that you can actually still feel what you feel and give the body what it needs, as opposed to trying to dull it down. And that's all those drugs do. It's dulling down your feeling. Now, those drugs have been linked to anticlimactic effects, meaning they can prevent you from orgasming, not just while you're taking them, but in the future as well. And I think, you know what? I want women to be able to feel pleasure. I want you to be able to have lots of fun years and enjoy your life. And if there's a drug that potentially has more permanent effects, they need to let people know this. So I'm letting you know right now, so you can make a more informed decision if you ever get offered it. But there are so many natural alternatives, and you need to look into these different things, because I don't know you specifically, but maybe you can look into different herbs that might be specific for you. You might look at withania, kava, St. John's wort, so many different ones that are going to have a different effect on your serotonin, your GABA, your dopamine. And if anything, it's going to regulate you, but still allow you to feel. And that's the main thing, right? So we're going to look after our livers, look after our guts, but also look after our nervous systems. Now, you don't always need to take something. What I do for my nervous system every day is do breath work. So you've probably heard of box breathing. So box breathing, breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and then hold for 4. Really, really simple. I personally don't love that one. It's I want to do a deeper breath. I want to do a deeper exhale. But if you find that really good, it gets you in your body and it keeps you super duper regulated. Really, really good for some people. The other one I like and prefer is called a physiological sigh. And it's 2 breaths in through the nose and then 1 breath out through the mouth, making a ha sound. So it's and keep going for like a whole minute. But try and slow it down by the time you get to a minute, and you just notice like this ultimate calm. I like that because it's slightly more somatic, meaning you feel more, and it feels like, you can actually like expel more out. Like if you're feeling emotional or you're feeling any form of frustration or rage or anything at all, it helps to just get that out of the body. I think that's way more effective for me, but I want to share that with you today as well. Now, the last thing that I want to focus in on is your adrenal glands. They actually sit on top of your kidneys. They pump out things like adrenaline and cortisol. And the purpose of them is to respond to stress. But the thing is, our bodies don't know the difference between running away from a saber-toothed tiger and that guy cutting you off on the highway who doesn't know how to merge. You know what I mean? It's like we can get super ragey, but the body doesn't realize that we're not running for our lives right now. And what happens is the adrenaline goes high, then cortisol has to go high in order to dampen down that stress response. But cortisol in the body it's called a glucocorticoid, like it causes our blood glucose to kind of in a pseudo way, like in a fake way, to rise, which actually causes our insulin to rise, which over time, after chronic stress, a lot of women will end up insulin resistant. And I see it a lot in my clinic. I see so many women who have this rising insulin in the background. They might have normal blood glucose, but they have this rising insulin. And that is what causes the weight gain around the middle. It's what causes you to feel so tired, regardless of whether you've eaten. And it's also the thing that's signaling in the background to go eat more carbs or go eat more sweet things. Like if you're really craving that sweet thing in the background, it's probably your insulin following your cortisol. All right. Like if you have something sweet, it calms your cortisol down so much. If you have carbs, it calms it down. But people think, oh, well, I'll just go low carb, but that doesn't help it. Like we actually have to deal with the stress, like what's causing the stress. So if we can give you some more stress management tools, I think that's really, really beneficial. So some people will say like put your face in like an ice bath. I don't love doing that personally. Having a cold shower, that could be helpful. You could do a warm bath, a cool bath, if you've got access to a couple of different things like that. You could have a sauna and then a cool shower. That works really well. You could have a magnesium bath. That works really well. And just a word on magnesium. I see far more women in perimenopause who are sodium deficient, not magnesium deficient. So they actually have worn out adrenals, which require more sodium. That's why we crave salt sometimes. But a lot of women think that they need more magnesium, and all it does is slow more things down. So if you've been taking magnesium and you're still feeling tired, then you probably don't need magnesium. You probably need sodium, but always test first. If you need help with testing, reach out to me. I think that's about it for today. I could keep going on, and I will do more episodes on perimenopause because this is my specialty in my naturopath business. You can follow me on TikTok. You can follow me on Instagram at @amnaturopath. I am so excited to share this with the world, and I cannot wait to share more with you. If you are looking at HRT, try these things first. If you're in early menopause, try these things first. There are always natural ways to do things before you resort to the drug method or the medical method. So just check things out first. And if you need a hand, reach out to me on social media. And I cannot wait to talk to you more on the next episode. Thanks so much for joining.